Hello, my name is Roshan Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In20. If you're watching us on YouTube, do
that back four and protect and pass the ball very, very simply. He is brilliant. If you put leg.
Hello and welcome to In20 with me, Roshan Narayan. Now, if you're watching us on the Rakyat Post, thank you very much for joining us. And don't forget to catch all the highlights and talking points on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram account. Danny, your former team, Leeds United, so close, 4-3, 88th minute. It was a penalty. Heartbreak, man. I felt sad for you. What a performance. 4-2-4 at times, their formation. They really gave Liverpool a go.
Yeah, and I think, that the pleasing thing was that Marcelo Bielsa stuck to what he's always done. He played the way that Leeds have played in the Championship for the last 2 seasons. That's been successful for them. Some people might have thought that was a little bit naive, going to Liverpool, playing against, the best team in the country, one of the best teams in Europe, and almost trying to out-Liverpool at times is what they were trying to do. Their press was incredibly strong. Their energy was absolutely fantastic. The problem was they conceded 3 sloppy goals, I would say, within that, unnecessary errors at times. I thought the first penalty was very, very harsh. I think that's very, very difficult. When it comes off your knee, you've got nowhere to go. It's very, very difficult. But that's sort of the new laws, new regulations for handball. The last penalty, I mean, it's a massive cliche, but it's a centre forward's challenge, isn't it? He's turning his back. He's tackling with the wrong leg. He dangles a leg, and it's a penalty. Simple as that. But I was also very, very pleased for Patrick Bamford, who's had a lot of criticism from me
from you as well. From you as well.
Without.
Well, Danny?
Apart from that.
There we go.
But I think what you'd have to say is that, he took his chance very, very well. But what he does, he works incredibly hard for the team. And the press sometimes that they put up against Liverpool couldn't cope with it. Alisson was having to kick long balls. He never does that. They always play out from the back. And I think they pressured Liverpool, into making mistakes.
You know what's the best thing? We're live on the Rakyat Post. It's the first time ever. We lost your audio for about 30 seconds or 15 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds. We panicked. Everyone was panicking because it was the performance so far on the opening day. I mean, we can talk about Arsenal a bit later on. But Marcelo, now, if you're a Premier League owner, you might be looking at this guy. He went to Anfield. He stuck with his formation. As you said, you might be going like, let's get the checkbook and sign this man for my club to run it.
Well, I think there'd be lots of clubs, but he's very, very loyal. I don't see him leaving Leeds at the moment. He's unique. He is unlike any other manager probably on the planet, I would say. The issues about his contract, he only wants to stay. He only wants to sign a year contract because, he believes that, he doesn't need a length of term. He doesn't need a 5-year deal. He pays his own staff out of his, reported sort of £8 million a year, which is a very, very unusual situation. He lives, breathes, eats, sleeps football. That's what he does. He walks to the training ground, which, is very, very unusual. He lives in his Leeds United training kit. I think he's got an upgrade this year. I think he's got a little cushion on the bucket that he's got. I think obviously that's what happens when you get in the Premier League. Maybe that was in the contract negotiation.
Yeah.
On top of the bucket, just to be a little bit more comfortable at times. But he is unique. The fitness levels of his teams, the way that he works people is incredible. And I think there'd be a lot of top clubs that would love to have Marcelo Bielsa at their football club.
And how impressive was it? As you mentioned, he went to a team in the Championship. He's good enough, as you mentioned, to manage any top team in the world. So if I were to ask you, maybe come December, that's because, that's the time when people get the chop as a manager. If he could join one particular team in the Premier League, which one would it be for you?
I think all the top 6 teams would be looking at them. I don't think he will leave. Let's get that first and foremost, because he is very, very loyal. I know he's walked out on clubs before when things haven't gone his way, but this is a project that I think he wants to oversee. But if I was Manchester United, I'd be looking at it and going, okay, Ollie's done okay at Manchester United, but is Marcelo Bielsa an upgrade on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Yes, he is. Simple as that. In fact, just for the style that he plays. Tottenham, would I be looking at that and going, does Bielsa do a different thing to Mourinho? Mourinho is unbelievably successful. We know that. He is absolutely superb. But if you want to play a certain style of football and you want to do it on a narrow budget, Bielsa's your man for that. And I think because of that, all the top owners will be looking at it and going, oh, I wish we'd have gambled on him 2 years ago when Leeds took that gamble.
You spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A lot of people, including yourself, said, he might not be there, United come the start of the new season. He's there. Pochettino's still out of a job. Is this a bit naive from Manchester United? Let's stick with Ole because it was working for a certain period of time. It's back on track with Bruno Fernandes and the introduction. The young players are coming through. Are they too loyal to him?
I think they had a very good period after lockdown. The young players were performing very, very well. Mason Greenwood was doing well. Martial was scoring goals. I still think they have one or two issues. That they have to work out how that midfield is now going to work. Who is going to be the holding midfield player? Van der Beek comes in as well. They've got some very good attacking, creative midfield players, which is maybe what they've lacked. Do they now have a holding midfield player that can sit there and allow those other players to do what they're good at? I'm still not convinced on Martial being the out-and-out number 9 for a full season. Marcus Rashford, forget about the person Marcus Rashford is. He has been incredible. What he's done in this country, what he has done for other people, not in football, has been sensational. But his form hasn't been brilliant since obviously Project Restart and everything else. Mason Greenwood, he's done incredibly well, but can you rely on a youngster? Youngsters' form is up and down. Youngsters make mistakes. We've seen that with Mason Greenwood, in the last few weeks off the pitch as well. Yeah. That comes into play. Harry Maguire's got a little bit of an incident to deal with. I still think Manchester United, they will be better, and I think they probably will finish in the top 4. But if you want to start challenging Liverpool and Manchester City, I think they still need to add a couple of really good players, and I'm looking at a centre-half and a centre-forward within that to stop the goals, to shore everything up, to go alongside Harry Maguire, and also to get you 20, 30 goals guaranteed in the Premier League.
You mentioned Mason Greenwood, and fair enough. I think a lot of people forget that he's still a kid. We were doing silly things. We're still doing silly things in life. Do you think it's a witch hunt?
You might be. I'm not.
Fair enough. I'm scared of my wife, but that's a different topic altogether. But isn't it a witch hunt? I mean, one story is enough. Then you have another one. What is it? What do you gain when you keep hammering a young person like that? He's made a mistake. That's it. Focus on the football. Why must his personal life be dragged into such a situation?
It's news, though, isn't it? And it's one of those. You look at what Marcus Rashford has done, and he took on the government in this country, not once but twice, and got to overturn. He's not that much older. Football's. I don't like the word role model, and I never have done. I've never felt comfortable with that. Footballers are idols, and they have a responsibility because through sponsorship, through media, obviously, they earn more money and all those types of things. So therefore, you have to have some sort of social responsibility for what you do. I thought what he did out in Iceland was unforgivable. You're putting the team in jeopardy. You are playing for your country. I don't care whether you're 15 or whether you're 35. You know the COVID regulations. It is drummed into you every single day. To put everybody at risk and to put people in jeopardy, your team, the game, everything else, when you were making your debut for England. When I turned up for my England debut, I didn't dare say boo to a goose. I walked into the dining room and waited till everybody sat down before I picked a seat in case I sat in the wrong seat. Let alone, I wouldn't even dare order room service to my room. I wouldn't even order a plate of chips, let alone order anything else to my room. This is. So I don't think saying that he's a young player is an excuse for that. You're on England duty. The media foray. When you're in that situation. You're at one of the biggest clubs in the world in Manchester United. You're now playing for your country. And with everything that's going on was just daft. The other incident, the balloon incident, okay, I can maybe I can understand that to a point. When you're out with friends and you make a mistake and that's just happened on top of everything else and that story has come out. That is a little bit of stupidity. That's a little bit of naivety and that's being a kid, probably. But when you're on England duty, doing what you did, and obviously both of them, Phil Foden as well, we have to bring him into this because he's been around one of the very, very best and learned from a lot of players. He's been around a long time, at the top level. He knows what it is to be professional. He's learned from, Kevin De Bruyne, from David Silva, from Sergio Aguero, who you never see do these sort of things. So the pair of them away with England were stupid, really, really stupid. And it's, they're going to have to learn very, very quickly, because once you've made one mistake, any little mistake that happens again, that incident will be brought up, and they're going to have to live with that for a very, very long time.
Okay, let's leave it be. They're young men, and hopefully they will sort their lives and their careers out soon. Talking about sorting it out, Arsenal, Brazilian centre-backs, one didn't work. Gabriel has come in. Is he the answer, or is it just too early to tell after that performance against Fulham?
I think Fulham weren't fabulous. I think Fulham will struggle this season. I can see Fulham, and I think I tip Fulham to go down this year. They've a young, inexperienced manager in there. I know there's not an awful lot of it. There's not a huge age gap between the two, but Arteta, has been around. He's been working with Pep for a long, long time, and I think he's learned an awful lot from that. Scott Parker's not been in the job as long. He hasn't maybe got as much experience or seen as many things, especially obviously at a Premier League level. And I think Arsenal, they have been improving. There is a significant improvement, I think. I still think they're going to be way off top four. I think it'll be very, very difficult to get into that. But who knows? At least they've put themselves where now they could possibly be in contention. At the back of last season, you're probably thinking, well, 7th, 8th is about right. Now there's no reason why they can't be 6th, 5th, maybe even 4th in the league. If he sorts out that defence with the attacking prowess and the quality that they have going forward, Arsenal will be a threat. I think hats off to Mikel Arteta. To get your 3 points, to score 3 goals away from home. There's a lot of firsts in that. You're desperate for that to happen early in the season. He's done well, and that will give them confidence going into the next game.
So could you imagine managers like Steve Bruce or Sam Allardyce, who's come out time and time again saying that, he could have been given an opportunity. I mean, Scott Parker has been given an opportunity, but is this the new norm? New managers, young managers trying something new to advance the game?
Yeah, but you still need time. Mikel Arteta, he didn't turn around Arsenal overnight. And Arsenal were a good side. But they were, when he first went in, they were quite average, I thought, at times. In some of their performances. The results weren't particularly better than previous managers. But over the course of time, he's changed the way that they've played. It's starting to see a new way of playing. But a lot of times, these young managers are given opportunity when the club's doing okay. When the club's in a good position in the first place. Sam Allardyce, Tony Pulis back in the day, Neil Warnock were parachuted in because clubs were desperate to stay up. And that means when Arteta, Scott Parker, Frank Lampard have not been doing well and they get the sack, that's when you bring in experience. That's when you bring in managers that have been there, seen it, done it, to stop the rot. And that's the difference. These new younger managers play football in a different way. They're maybe a little bit more progressive, but it doesn't always work. We saw it last year at Middlesbrough. Jonathan Woodgate, Real Madrid, England legend, played for Tottenham, played for all sorts of clubs. Couldn't make it work. And towards the end of the season, he's a Middlesbrough lad. They went, no, get him out and we'll get Neil Warnock in because we have to survive, in the Championship. And that's what happens at times.
But you have to give credit to Arsenal. Like you mentioned, they've gone with something new. We got comments from fans as well. They're talking about the philosophy that is at Arsenal. We've spoken about it. You hope for the best, right, for Mikel Arteta, because he's trying to do something new and it seems to be working.
Yeah, and he's also going to have to do it on a limited budget. It's not Chelsea, it's not Manchester City, it's not Manchester United, where he's going to be able to go out and spend absolutely millions and get in all the right players. He's got to develop those players. And it's easy to, a lot of people say, oh, he improves the players. I've been thinking about this a lot over the summer, about all these managers.
Yeah. I
don't think they improve the players a great deal. They just get them playing to the best of their ability. Previous managers have, for whatever reason, the coaching or the way of playing or style, whatever it might be, those players have underperformed. You're talking about senior internationals at times. You're talking senior players. They're not getting significantly better than what they are already. you are just making them play to the best of their ability. And I think, Guardiola, Klopp, Arteta, seem to be able to do that.
You didn't mention Jose Mourinho. He's at Tottenham. Are you worried about him in terms of what he's done over the transfer window, or what he's not done as much as the other teams have? You've seen Chelsea just gone mad in terms of just buying everyone on the planet. United have added to their squad. Arsenal have added to their squad. Are you worried about Jose Mourinho and even Carlo Ancelotti?
No, I'm not. I think with Mourinho, I think he's got limited funds. Daniel Levy is not going to spend, huge amounts of money, is he? They have this fantastic new stadium, which I've seen some funny things on social media after everything that's been happening. That I think they've recalled it Tottenham Studios rather than the Tottenham Stadium, which is quite funny. And there's some good bits with it, within the documentaries that have come out. But Mourinho will go back to basics. He will go solid defensively. He will get that sorted out, and then he will rely on Bergwijn, Son, Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Lo Celso. There's still some very, very good players. If they buy into what Mourinho wants, then there's every chance that they can be successful and they can start to re-challenge for the top four.
How about Alex Morgan at Tottenham? I can't believe it's just literally gone under the radar. A couple of websites have covered it, but it's a big signing, just not in football, but for the world of sport.
She's going to play alongside Harry Kane. Is that
hey, I think she's good enough. I think she's good enough.
Well, what a signing. Some of the strikers down the years that haven't quite worked out for Tottenham. She's better than them, that is for sure. I can see that. But no, it's a huge statement, I think, in terms of women's football, which is fantastic. She's a real marquee signing. Will help promote the game. And a quality player that has won absolutely everything. And again, that's brilliant because it can only, it will promote the women's game. It will get more young girls into football, who will watch not just the women's game, but the men's game as well. And it's just a very, very good signing.
And it, like you mentioned, it's a message to everyone around the world that they're finally getting the recognition they deserve, Danny.
Oh, without a doubt. She is one of the top players in the world, or has been for some time. So to get a big move, to get what she deserves, probably towards the twilight of her career, is an outstanding achievement. As
for Don Carlo Ancelotti at Everton, I don't know what it is, but my spidey senses are tingling when it comes to his survival rate at Everton. There's something. I know they bought James Rodriguez. They've got some really good players in. But I don't know what it is with Carlo Ancelotti. It's just, I'm worried. If you watch his track record, he doesn't last that long, Danny.
No, but I think he's a very, very good manager. I'm not sure about your spider sense. I think you've got Batman and Robin's t-shirt on there.
You're right.
You've gone for the wrong outfit. But I think Carlo Ancelotti, those Alan coming into the midfield, Decore as well, and James Rodriguez, or James, as he should really be called, shouldn't he? I think those three are very, very good. You've got a sitting player that can control the tempo of the game in Alan. You've got Decore that can get box to box, that can put his foot in. Is energetic as well and good quality. And you've got James Rodriguez that is, you're hoping is what they were, is going to be a huge upgrade on the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson. Because on his day can be absolutely magnificent. You then throw into that other players as well. And I think Everton, they're not going to challenge the top four, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the top six next season, and just sort of looking up a little bit at the top four and not being too far away from that.
Okay, let's take a little wager. Come December, January, I say he'll be gone. You say no. Fair enough?
He won't be gone, no. No chance.
All right, Danny, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next week. And for those of you all watching us on the Rakyat Post or on our YouTube channel, thank you very much for all your support. Do follow us, of course, on our YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications and the subscribe button and catch all the highlights on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram account. Till the next time, take care.